I know people say, oh, I dread getting old, but it has a lot of advantages as well.
Hello from Middlesbrough, where today I'm going to be painting what could be potentially a masterpiece of art, and that's because I'm alongside a man who is a master when it comes to art, and I know this because he's my dad. Hello, Dad.
Hello, Stephanie.
Here we are. So this is the gallery, which is just next door to the studio where you paint and sculpt in, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so over the years I've been coming here to see you do that, and the good people at Specsavers want to show the amazing skills that their older customers have to the world so that we can all learn something from it. So why don't you join us? Grab yourself some paintbrushes, paint some water, and we'll create a masterpiece together. So, Dad, what are we painting today?
Well, we're going to do a landscape painting, and we're going to put into the landscape a feature that's well known in the area called roseberry topping.
Yeah.
And it's a particular shape that people can recognise. The first thing we've got to do when you're doing a landscape is to establish where you want the horizon line.
Okay, so am I basically doing a straight line?
No, what you need to do is sort of like an undulating line like that.
Do you think anyone can do art?
Well, anyone can do it, yeah. A lot of people, when they say, oh, I'm an artist, they say, oh, I did art at school, but I was no good at it. But you can take it up later on in life as well. You're sort of thinking about what you're doing rather than all the other things that might be going on in your life. So next, that's as much drawing that we're going to do for now.
So pencil down.
Pencil down.
Now is it paintbrushes?
And paintbrushes up. What we're going to be using today is acrylic paint. What we're doing is like an evening sunset, really. So we're going to make it really colourful.
Yeah.
We're going to have a nice colourful sky that's going to change.
Right, so it's going to be what, like yellowy, reddy, blue kind of thing?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cool. So do we start with yellow then?
So dip our brush into the yellow.
Is there any like technique to putting it on?
You want to be just whacking it on, really.
The technical term.
Whack it.
Yeah, whack it on.
So we're going to go right across as
Yeah.
quickly as we can. Yeah. So we've got the yellow down.
Mm-hmm. Is that
to
all right?
about there, yes.
Mine looks a bit darker than yours, does it matter?
No, it doesn't.
I guess that's what's good about art as well, it's like...
Yeah, there's no right and wrong way to do it. You just...
do what feels right for you.
Yeah, and what suits you, technically. So we've got the yellow down and the paint's still wet.
Yeah.
So we're going to add the next colour, which
Right.
is the sort of orange. So, because what we're going to do is blend the red in with the yellow. And also, I want you to use the brush strokes up so that the sky's moving up. And sort of try and blend it in. So when you get to the yellow bit, if you put some more water on your brush, that will soften the edge. Can you see how it's...
Yeah, so then it creates like the orangey in the sky.
Yeah, so you go right across again from one side to the other. So now we've got the red down,
right.
we move on to the blue. Again, try and get a soft line between the red and the blue.
Can you remember when you first started liking art?
Oh, it was at school, really. I suppose I loved the art lessons, the art classes.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just took to it. I just felt as though I could do something with it and achieve something with it. And people said I had a talent for it, teachers.
Yeah.
So that gave me encouragement as well.
How's that looking?
That's great. So we've got our dramatic sky in now.
Yeah.
Leave the sky for a few minutes because we need to put in a sort of white patch over the top, which you can do with the acrylic.
So is that a cloud or something?
That's the sort of where the sun is, really.
Right.
So we're not going to do a cliched yellow ball for the sun.
Uh-oh. I haven't done one.
We're going to do. We're just going to do a white shape that goes across and follows that line up.
And do you like passing on your knowledge then? Do you like it when we paint together and things, or do I do your head in?
No, it's good to be able to teach people what you've done. And I think there's lots of skills that older people can teach young people. Because we've got all the experience and gone through all the problems that you might have with your work or with whatever you're doing, really. Okay, so we've got a sort of middle ground feature, which is the dry stone wall sort of there. And then we've left a gap because that's sort of how we're going to lead the eye through from the foreground through to the background.
Ah, a gate for the eye?
Yeah, that's a gateway for the eye. So now we've got that bit in, we need to put in a white bit now the sky's dry. So we can use a pure white. Yeah. And this is sort of like representing where the sun is.
Yeah, so like the beams of sunlight coming through white.
So we're going to put it in between the orange and the yellow.
Are we doing dip in the water?
No, just use it as it is. So I'll show you first and then you can copy. So it's basically something just like that. Yeah. So it's fairly thick, well, very thick, and because that, with acrylics, you see, you can paint out what sort of ragged. That's what I'm trying to think of the word to describe that. So you've got a ragged edge to it. Oh, that's great. So the next thing we're going to do is use a thin brush, and we're going to put in a couple of as though remnants of what was there before, the gate.
Yeah, so like the posts?
Yeah.
Right.
So we take the brown.
So like a brown, like a dark brown?
Yeah.
Right.
And then just, it's you want it sort of like a wobbly line that goes up like that. And it doesn't matter if, you know, the brown doesn't cover the yellow, as long as you get a sort of upright. Now what we're going to do next is we're just going to start to build up the path that's going to come that way. Yeah, so what colours and so
what brush?
If we just rinse our brush again, and what we're going to do is create the illusion of sort of like a bit of rough ground. So
you're going across ways?
Just doing dabs like that. So basically the path is going to just wind down to about there.
Right.
On either side.
Yeah.
So if you just put in sort of like 3 dabs really to make it look like it's got ridges. You don't have to be careful.
Yeah, it can be quite rough and ready.
Yeah.
I'm going a bit wonky, I think.
It doesn't matter, it looks better wonky.
Right.
So it's
more realistic.
Yeah, because when you're walking along these sort of paths, they are quite wonky.
Yeah.
And bumpy and rocky. Next, we ditch the paintbrush and we use a sponge.
Oh, right.
So this is where it gets a bit more messy with your hands.
Okay.
So I've got a box of sort of natural sponges. So we're going to add trees and like bushes and things here.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be painting every single leaf and thing on the bushes, because we don't want to be spending hours painting individual leaves and things like that. So we're going to use a sort of like almost like a shortcut, if you like.
A cheap way to do your leaves. I genuinely thought you spent hours just painting little leaves.
No, I've got a life. And so down in this bit, we want it really dense. So we put on loads and we dab it on really quickly. So you don't have to be careful about what you're doing. You just want to fill in the gaps with the sort of illusion of foliage. So it's like that. And what we're going to do is put in some old gnarled sort of trees in the foreground, to be a contrast to the spongy foliage.
Right, so...
Okay, so we're going to have a couple of trees on either side, but we're not going to see the whole tree because we want it to look as though it's coming out of the undergrowth and that. So, you know, it's up to you to decide, but we use the brush that way up, and you can just randomly just drag the paint up in a sort of like wobbly way and gets thinner as it goes to the top, like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's like the main trunk. You want it to be sort of all random and not the same. And then I'm going to put another little bit of the tree there as though it's being covered by the foliage. That's it. The more sort of wobbly it is, the better.
Yeah, mine's too straight looking, isn't it?
Well, just add a bit more thickness to the bottom.
Right.
And just make it a bit more twisted. So, and it doesn't even have to be thick enough to completely cover the foliage, because you want it to look as though it's got green bits growing on it.
Yeah.
Two old trees on this side. We don't want to do two trees on that side because it'll just look a bit, it's best if it doesn't look too balanced either side. So I'm just going to go on this side and have another tree that maybe comes out of there and covers over some of the wall and covers over some of the distant roseberry topping.
Yeah.
And that again helps to give the look that it's actually in front, even though it's just all flat.
I feel like that bit looks a bit naff there. So can it, you know, it looks a bit too like a child's done
Yeah.
it. So how do I change it?
So what you need to do is pick up some of that pale brown.
Yeah.
And just, as lightly as you can, just dab the edge of the branch so that it looks as though it's got a bit of sunlight on it. Just dab it. That's it, yeah. So again, it looks 3D now.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Oh, yeah, and what I thought was a mistake, well, it was a mistake, but that instantly makes it look more real.
Yeah.
Anything else before we finish?
So what we can do is we can use the thin brush again. More prominent details down at the bottom of the picture, which represents the foreground.
Yeah, some flowers.
So, yeah, so we can get some of the white on the brush and then some of the red.
Yeah.
So you've got two colours on the edge of your brush.
Yeah.
And we're going to...
So two colours, this is getting wild.
We're not, so you get a blob of white and a blob of red, and that gives you sort of like a random look. And then we're doing these down the bottom, so you just dab on flowers, and can you see how the red and the white make a sort of pinky colour, but not... the paint does it for you. You don't have to do it, the paint sort of does the work by...
Yeah. Now you're older as well, you've actually got more time to show us these skills.
Yes, I know people say, oh, I dread getting old, but it has a lot of advantages as well.
What do you think's the best thing about being older?
The best thing, getting a bus pass. So you don't have to pay to go, you know, on the bus. It's really amazing that.
That looks amazing.
So, I think that's about as far as you want to take
Yeah.
this.
That looks brilliant. I feel like I've learned loads from that. I never thought when we started out that I would have been able to do anything remotely like yours, and actually because you've taken me through step by step, it's not too shabby.
Well, I think your raspberry topping looks better than mine, actually.
Hey! Oh, well, thank you so much for spending the time to pass on your skills to me. Hopefully everyone watching has learned something as well. So thank you very much for watching. That's it from us. Shall we say bye?
Oh, yeah, bye.
Bye.